What the heck is authenticity? Well, today we're going to talk to Marcus Matthews, who is going to give us the skinny on all of this today on Mindset Matters More. So everybody meet Marcus Matthews, known as the Mind Mentor, based on the English-Welsh border near Shrewsbury, the birthplace of Charles Darwin. Marcus is an award-winning advanced clinical hypnotherapist, a rapid transformational therapy trainer, and a key collaborator with world-renowned expert Marisa Peer. With over 20 years of experience, he blends therapy, coaching, mentoring into what he calls mind mentoring to help high performers, executives, and everyday people overcome deep blocks, transform challenges into gifts, and step into clarity, confidence, and purpose. He's a former soldier and police officer who turned his own life around after hitting rock bottom. Marcus works with elite clients worldwide. He's just returned from an intense 48 hours on the fan dance in Brecon, right? I'm saying that right?
You're saying that right. Yeah.
With ex-SAS and Delta Force operators. Oh, and for fun, he once performed with the Spice Girls. If you want to be my lover. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry I did that. Marcus loves to travel, especially to Italy, nature, animals, and right now he's loving life with his brand new puppy, Amber. Marcus, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here. This is going to be fun. I know from the start and from the off and from that intro. So let's dive in. I do not know what you're going to ask me, so it's always fun, right? So go for it.
All right, let's dive right in. So when you and I were talking about what you do, we talked a lot about authenticity. And you and I, as professionals, we know what that means. We know what the implications of authenticity means. However, prior to getting into the world of personal development, I thought I was living authentically. It wasn't until I dove into these tools and finding out how my behaviors were really colored by all of my preconceived notions, my experiences, my traumas, my histories, my loves, my hates, and everything. And I finally understood what authenticity was, but not till after I started. So how can we break down authenticity for somebody who may not be so well versed in what that is?
So it was interesting while you were just talking now. I am a clinical hypnotherapist, but I'm actually a dehypnotist. I don't use hypnotherapy, I use dehypnotherapy. And the reason why I say that is that when we look at authenticity, probably one of the best ways of looking at this is through the word truth. And so for anybody listening, I want to just ask people, actually, while they're listening to this podcast, I want you to do this. I want you to notice any words, phrases, or anything that we say that is like an ear prick up. That's kind of like a diamond, a piece of gold that drops for you. But I want you to do this. I want you to notice how it feels. Because here's the thing. A truth is a belief agreed upon by people with influence and power. Truth is a belief. A belief is a thought and a feeling that comes together. And your mind's job is just has two parts, sorry. It's a prediction machine that keeps you safe. We are being hypnotized all the time. Media, our social circles, friends, families, teachers. So your truth might not always be somebody else's truth, but because the mind is there to keep us safe and it bases it on prediction, whatever the truth of everybody else might be, it becomes your truth. And what you do is, because you want to stay safe, the mind's job is to keep you safe. What you do is you compromise your true, authentic self to become the truth that somebody tells you that you should be. So a lot of my work is about helping people understand why they feel the way they do, because the truth that they're living in isn't their true truth. And and your true truth is about living your authentic life. But that is dangerous as far as the mind is concerned, right? Because if you step out of the tribe, you're going to die. And if anybody's seen the, the film The Croods,
Yeah.
if you know the film The Croods, right? We've all got an inner grug that says if you do that, you will die.
Yeah.
And so I become Guy for people's EPA. Yes, so that you can climb and you can fly, but you can do that in a way that the mind feels safe. So all of a sudden now the mind starts to support you to understand how the mind actually works, not what you've been sold. So that's kind of what I do. And that's how we get to be authentic.
In my experience, hits the nail on the head, because our brain is always looking, how do we protect this? How do we protect our body, our mind, our spirit? How do we protect it? Even to the extent of lying to ourselves and putting on a facade so that we can, navigate what is expected sociologically in the family, even within like the realm of your own home, like your immediate family, right? So what are some of the things that trip us up in terms of wanting to express ourselves authentically versus actually living authentically?
I think if it's okay, I'm going to lean into something here. I hope it's okay to share this, but so I've done a lot of the new age stuff. I've done a lot of the kind of, I was a Reiki master. I've done kind of all of that self-development stuff that people do. But about 12 months ago, sorry, 2 years ago, I met my mentor, a lady called Chelsea Baker, who is the CEO of National Mentoring Day. So she works with big global companies. She's an absolute powerhouse. And I started to look into the difference between mentoring and coaching and therapy. And I want to just spell this out, and then I want to spin this actually into something that is in the Bible, or it's something not in the Bible, but something that I recognized, right? So therapy helps you understand the past. Coaching helps you plan for the future, but mentors are the ones that say, I see you, I believe in you, let's go. This is what I've studied when I've studied lots of successful people, when I've worked with lots of successful people, is that there's always that one person that says, I've got you, I see you, let's go. They believe in you more than you believe in yourself. Now, when you haven't got that, okay, you might have people who love you, that care for you, but actually a lot of the times those people say, don't do that, because they're scared. So a lot of our traumas that we have are not even ours. They're projections of other people's. And even if we look at this from a genetic perspective, people go, oh, that's genetic. Yeah, it's a bit of energy that's been passed down that wasn't yours to have. This is why I love epigenetics. But here we go. I just want to share this with you. I was meditating on this, and it was something that was interesting, and it was manifestation, right? So have you ever used affirmations?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, right. Have you ever done this though? Let's just use this one. I am amazing. I am brilliant. I am great. Right? That kind of thing. I am a millionaire. And there's a voice in your head that goes, yeah, right. Okay.
Yep.
So we know that the first law of attraction is not attraction. It's not the words. Okay. It's vibration. We know that. And you'll hear people say you have to become who you want to be. Now that's great. If you've got the environment, so one of my pillars that I work with is environment. If you've got the environment right, then yeah, that works. But if you haven't got the environment, what do you do? So I started to look at this. And as I started to kind of move into not religion as a Christian, but started to study Christianity, the Torah, the Bible, the Quran, right? Started to look at religious, how does this all link in? There was something that I noticed that was a truth, and you can try this. Whatever you think of in regards to manifestation and all of that sort of stuff, there is only one single truth, just leading on from the last question. This is that single truth: love.
Mm.
However, however, if you say the word God or creator, whatever kind of your vibe is, if you think of that monotheistic, somebody who created the universe, right? Whatever it is,
Yeah.
I'm going to use the word God just for this. If you actually say, close your eyes and say the words God and notice how it feels,
God.
notice how that feels in your body. Now, all I want you to do is focus on the feeling. And now I want you to say the word love.
Love.
What happens? Does anything shift or change? Is it amplified? Does it go down? What happens?
Well, when I say the word God, I feel a connection. I feel like a presence. But then I say love, and that presence glows almost.
Okay, right. So why just stick with God? Why not just go straight to love? Now, here's the interesting thing. On Mount Sinai, when Moses gets the tablets, right? God reveals himself and he says this: I am that I am. So whenever we create a truth about ourselves, we always say I, right? I am enough. I have anxiety. Whatever it is. That is the word of God. The word of love is you're actually saying, by saying I am invoking God's power. But here's the thing. To get that vibration in, it has to be a truth. You can say the words, but if it's not true, so how do you get the vibration in? Now, I have loads of tools that I've used, my quantum manifestation tool, lots of tools I've used. But it was really bugging me because the thing that people can't do is they can't feel it, especially if you've gone through trauma, disassociation, that sort of, it's difficult to feel it. So how does it manifest? Well, here's a different version of the Jesus story. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
The Old Testament works like this. God creates everything perfectly, gives you a rule book, says it's fine. Man goes, we've got this. We don't need you anymore. Chaos. The Old Testament literally is a cycle of God fixing everybody, then it going back to normal. God fixing everybody, then it going back to chaos. God fixing everybody, going back to chaos, right? So what happens then? God as CEO, goes, I'm going to have to go and do undercover boss. So he comes down in the form of Jesus.
I love it.
Shows everybody what happens. And then what he says is he goes to all of the disciples, okay, you've seen me do this. And they're going, yes, Jesus, we believe you, right? Most of the apostles died for their faith, right? So there's so much evidence around this. But what's really funny, he does this. He goes, I'm going to give you a franchise. He says, I've created this, but you go and franchise everything off. And then when you look at Paul's account in the New Testament, they then go out and franchise and they're doing everything. God goes back to be AI support, can be everywhere for everybody to speak to that in whatever. But he has a sub-support system, right? In the apostles. And everything then goes back to the way it was. Here's the thing. The word of God in the Bible, I am the words. You can say the words, whether it's Christian words, whether you can say whatever it is, right? Has no power. You're just invoking. Now, if you don't throw that through love and ask yourself, when I say this, is it coming through love? It's like being on a public Wi-Fi network. And all the other energy that's not great is going to latch onto that, right? Whether you want to call it the devil, what you want to call it. Now, if you invoke those words from a place of love, it will manifest. Literally, the Jesus story is manifestation. It is the word of God, the vibration of God in physical form. Yes. So when you are working with the mind, the reason why I call myself the mind mentor is that you need to understand how the mind works on multiple levels. But most people focus on the mind. I hope we're not going off topic here, but most people focus on the words. Like, if you look at talking therapy, yeah, it's good to talk, but and what? How many people go for CBT, psychotherapy? Not there's anything wrong with that. And they take the heavy backpack off, they put it on the ground, and they go, feel better. And then they have to put the backpack back on
No.
and go on with their life again, right?
No.
Most therapy is I've got a flat tire, my warning system comes up on my dashboard and it's flashing away, and we go, oh, I don't know what that light is. So I get some tape and I put some black tape over and I can't see it anymore. And all of a sudden my steering wheel starts going to the right or to the left, whichever flat tire it is. So then I phone somebody up and go, hey, I've got a problem. They go, okay, I'll come and sit in the car with you for an hour and I'll hold the steering wheel, but I'm going to give it you back. My passion is about finding the root cause to why you feel the way you do. Because here's the thing, when you understand how the mind works, when you find your way back to your authentic self, the manifestation just happens. The problem is that transformation is being sold as this love and light.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who's been there, done it, and got the t-shirt knows that it is a dark, excuse my French, shitty process.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's done it on their own. So my whole thing was I was in that dark place. I've been there. I've done it. I've got the t-shirt. My mission now is to give people informed choice in how they create that authentic self, whether that be with me, whether that be somebody else. I do not care. But I do not want anybody to go through what I went through. And so
Right.
for me, I can stand up authentically. I can stand here and say, do you know what? There are days when I feel really shitty and I wish I wasn't here.
No.
I can say that, right? For those who's listening, I've got a smile on my face because I know this. When I'm not feeling great, it doesn't mean I failed. It's just a direction marker to get me back on track. That's all it is. And it's
Well,
all about how you reframe your experience, because God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is designed to help you win. But you cannot know love without loss. You cannot know success without failure.
yeah.
It's all about the
Absolutely.
journey. And it's all about helping people understand that you are not broken. Your mind and body is not broken. It's just that the less you do about it, the more lights are going to go off on the dashboard until eventually you'll stop.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. I think even in my own personal experience and the clients that I work with, having them get to a place where their vibration, their inner spirit is like glowing from that place of love, then that's when decisions can be made, right?
Yeah.
You never want to step into a new job, a new relationship, or leave a relationship or leave a job in that vibration of fear, anger, frustration, and lack. And so having them step into love, to me, I mean, obviously, maybe not to everybody else, but to me, that is the logical first step, because that clears the way for you to be able to find clarity, for you to find, hey, what is the path when I'm coming from a place of love? And what's interesting was that I thought that saying the word God and love would give me the same vibration. But I have so much history and personal stories and the connotations of everything that happens when I say the word God, and that it's just so loaded from, family and history and
Same here. Same here. That's why I
right,
stayed away from it for so
right.
long.
But the good thing about the word love is that, yeah, I've had poor relationships, but I'm not saying relationship. I'm saying love. And to me, that has been the purest thing that I could pour into a relationship, into a job, into my friendships, into my health. And coming from that place, like the immediate, like, alignment that happened just saying it was very powerful. Now, me and you, we talked about this AI tool that you developed that really draws on the teachings of the Bible. What inspired you to do that piece of it?
It was actually, this goes into what you were saying. So I had a really bad, I'll take you back to when I was 6 years old, right? I was
Yeah.
in church with my mum, and I just wanted to be out there playing football or soccer, as they say in the US, right? And I remember um the vicar or pastor was saying, it says like, God is everywhere. You can speak to God whenever you want. And I'm like, so like going, wait a minute, I can speak to God whenever I want. Why am I here? Right? And so I said to my mom, I remember saying this, God's everywhere, right? She said, yeah. I said, why am I in church on a Sunday when I could be playing football?
Mm.
And she said, shut up and listen. Now, this is a truth. This is for me, this is a truth. Church is important for community, right? So whatever your church is, right? Whether that be your running club, whether that be, your crochet club, whatever your church is where a bunch of people come together with a common understanding, a common connection, right? We all need connection. For me, it works like this. The church is your body,
Mm.
okay? And imagine your body as a vessel, and your vessel is full of all of the stories and all the things you tell you. And let's represent that as fish guts, stinky fish guts to the brim. Okay. Now I've got some fresh spring water. Maybe it's a course you've bought, a course that's going to change your life, and it's spring water.
Mm.
And you pour the spring water in. And right at the top, some of the detritus and some of the stuff like comes out. Fish guts are in there. It's still going to stink. So you get some more and you pay for another course event and you pour it in. Same thing. See, the problem is most people want to jump from I'm in chaos to mastery, and you need to create the foundations first. The first foundation is notice that there's fish guts in there and it stinks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those are the words you tell yourself, etc., etc., etc. As soon as you ask yourself this question, how can I resolve this from a place of love? How can I put a lens of love over this and say, how much can I love myself to invest in actually getting the fish guts out, to getting the stink out? So the first thing we need, if those fish guts have been in there for some time, think of it like a toilet drain. Sometimes you need to get Dynarod out. Like sometimes it's that compacted, you need to get that out, right? So once we've done that, now we've got an empty vessel. The problem is that empty vessel now goes, who am I? In this trauma, in this, I had an identity. This is who I was. This is who everybody told me to be. And now I'm turning up and people are going, we don't know you anymore. You're not that person anymore. So the safety system kicks in and goes, we need to go back. We can't do this. We're going to die because we don't have a tribe anymore, right? It's in our biology. It's encoded. But we need to do that. And then we need to be able to pour in. And we need to clear and cleanse that, right? And then pour it out again. So this whole process doesn't need to take a lot of time, but you need to understand and make that decision that sometimes if your body is dirty and stinky on the inside, the first thing you need to strip off. And once you strip off, you become naked. And when you stand there naked, people are going to notice.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when you work with a coach, when you work with a therapist, when you work with a mentor, what they do is they set the environment so you can strip down.
Yeah.
The problem is there's so many people out there, certainly in the transformation space, that they don't know what they're doing, and most of them are doing it for the money. And so what they're doing is you take your clothes off and then they take your clothes and run away.
No.
And they don't finish the job off. So for me, it's really important to see when you're working with somebody, whoever that is that are they going to create that space of love for you first? And are they going to allow you to turn up? I've just been with a client now who, told me, I'm not going to repeat what it is, but told me some stuff that she'd never shared before. Only because I set that environment. The environment is there. So that's the first pillar for me, is your environment. Your third pillar is how do I communicate my boundaries? How do I communicate my needs? How do I communicate? And that's one of the biggest problems. We have all these emotions, but we don't actually know how to speak them out safely. The second pillar really is understanding the why. Why do I feel the way I do? Why am I in this situation? Why have I not been able to communicate it? And then the fourth pillar is what you want. Now, most people will ask what they want, but notice this. I'm going to try this with you. Just close your eyes again. I want you just to say, I want,
I want,
and notice how you experience that. And now say this, I need.
I need.
Does that feel different?
Now, my body does not like that one.
Yeah, right. Because what happens is I want is we push it externally outside of us. I need is something that's internal, right? So I always say, I want an Aston Martin DB12, right? Do I need an Aston Martin DB12? I'll be honest, I'm conflicted about this one because I do believe that I need it. But actually, no, I don't. Actually, what I need, it's interesting whenever whenever you go to seminars or you get on these things and go, what does success look like for you? Is it more money? Is it this? Is it that? Is it the other? And when people say to me, what is success for you? I say, it's dead simple. I know that I am successful when I can wake up every morning with absolute inner peace and purpose and carry that throughout my day and go to sleep and rinse and repeat that. If I can create peace within my body and my mind every single day and know that I am serving and I have purpose in the world, for me, that is the ultimate success. Because money is just energy. Good people with more money can change the world. And unfortunately, we put people on a pedestal who aren't coming from a place of love. And so if you always kind of ask yourself that question, is this being said from a place of love? Is this experience coming from a place of love? You pretty much can never be wrong.
Right.
Never be wrong.
And the other point to that is when you're stepping out from a place of love and you're coming from a place of love in what you do, what you say, what you embody, all those other things just kind of manifest in your life anyways.
Because it's the vibration.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. But if I can't love myself, what I'm probably going to do is this. I'm going to try and emulate. And I did this, right? I did this. You know, you try and emulate. Who's the person that I would like to be like? And I will be like them. I'll dress like them. I'll be like them. You know, I'll build my business like them. I mean, I'm doing, for Marisa Peer, I'm actually doing a masterclass this week, I think it is, about kind of brand building, but it's not going to be about the usual brand building stuff. It's about how you show up, because when we get new students coming through, they're talking about Marisa and they're talking about, you know, Marissa's stuff and they've trained and all the rest of it, right? It's like, show up as you. No one cares. Like if you're building a house, imagine you're building a house, right? You've got a plot of land and you get a developer in and you go, okay, I want you to build me the most beautiful house in the world. And the builder goes, okay, I'm going to let you into a secret. I use a Stanley saw. I use a Makita drill. I sometimes use Ryobi, but mainly it's Makita. Oh, and by the way, while I'm working, I've got a DeWalt radio. You're going to look at that person and go, you're crazy. What you want to hear is this. I've built lots of houses. I've built lots of houses, but I don't want to build you a house. I want to build you a home. Tell me what your home looks like, that you can get up every day and regardless what happens, you love the home that you live in. Let's start there. We need to get super specific on what it is that success looks like. Confidence is a good example, right? When
Yeah.
anybody says to me, it's a bit provocative, this, but when everybody says to me, I just wish I was more confident. And I go, okay, so what you want to be able to do is take all your clothes off, spin around a pole while people are throwing dollar bills at you. And they go, no. I went, you gotta be confident to be a stripper. Let's get
Hmm.
specific.
Right. Right.
Because
And
these words that we say are really important and we need to get
yeah.
specific to create that vibration.
And I think that takes us back to the beginning is that we throw around this word authentic around and people don't know what it means. What does confidence look like? What does success look like? What does love look like? What does your relationship with God look like? Defining these things is going to be an individual experience,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How did you come to that point where you realized I need to make a change to live in that authenticity? Well, what was that point for you?
So back in 2016, I was serving as a police officer, and I went to a routine job. It wasn't anything big, right? It was a guy who was in drink. There'd been a bit of just something silly, and out of the blue, he assaulted me.
Mm.
Now, I've been really, really lucky. I'd never been assaulted at all, right? And so that all happened. It took about 20 minutes for backup to turn up, and this guy's trying to bite my face off. Anyway, I
Oh,
won. I won. But subsequently, something changed. And I say something changed. Something had already changed. That was just the time that it all broke.
right.
And it came down to something very, very simple that people were telling me, oh, it's probably PTSD and it's probably this and it's. So I went and spoke to somebody and it made it worse. So I did what all good men do, which is to not say anything, put on a mask, and 2 years later, I was going to kill myself. I completely broke at the worst time. And then I went through that process again. And when I spoke to people, I made it worse. And I remember saying to my doctor, is it okay to swear? Because this is what I
Yeah,
said. Yeah, okay.
absolutely.
I just want to be authentic when I said it. And
Yeah,
I
be
said, so the
authentic,
doctor
please.
said to me, we can give you drugs, we can give you counselling. You know, you can see a therapist, but it's probably going to take. This is on the NHS, by the way. You know, so it's kind of free. We pay tax, but it's free. But said it's going to be about 12, 18 months before you can see a proper therapist. And I said, I don't want drugs. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to know why the fuck I feel the way that I do. And nobody could answer that question. Why did, like on paper, I loved my job. But here's what happened. So I've done a lot more kind of deep stuff since there. But when I found the root cause was this. When I was about 6 years old, funnily enough, right? I always think this is quite ironic because I'd had a conversation with my mum about God in the same year that actually the feeling and the experience came into me. So what happened was we were playing with the frisbee on the beach on holiday. My brother, just being an arse, imagine he threw the frisbee over my head into the water and I could swim. But I turned around, I went to pick the frisbee up, and as I turned back to walk out, a big wave took me under. My book actually is called Drowning in Anxiety because what happened was in that moment, I thought I was going to die. And my brother and my dad pulled me out. It was probably literally seconds. And then they started to laugh. And my
Mm.
mum came down and she told them off and wrapped me in a towel. But in that moment, my mind did this. It said, at the point you needed the people that you trusted the most, they weren't there for you. Fast forward to when I broke, okay, when I've been doing my job, I was always there for other people. I
Mhm.
was, you know, always been that caring person, all the rest of it. In the time that I was struggling, the people that I needed the most, therapists, counselors, my teammates, they weren't there.
Yeah.
So what happened was that my mind had created this safety system, and this is a really cool thing. Is I want to prove this with physics. So you've heard of Albert Einstein.
Yes.
Okay, so Albert Einstein had this theory, the general theory of relativity. E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. So tell me, What is the mass of your mind?
That is not measurable.
Correct. It's frequency. It's
Right.
energy, but it's free. It's kind of not measurable because it's not just in your brain. Your mind is all over your body, right? Your
Right.
mind is not tangible. Okay, so here we
Yeah.
go. If your mind has no mass, it cannot experience time.
Yeah.
So therefore, you are running, if we look at this kind of from a quantum perspective, you are running every version of yourself in the present moment. There is only the present moment as far as the mind is concerned, and physics proves it. What's great about that is that if we only ever have the present moment, then if we can reprogram and understand that, then the neural connections, this thing called neuroplasticity, which is Hebb's law, that the neurons that wire together fire together. Once we release those, start to release and break down those all neural connections, we can create new neural connections. What does that mean? Well, it means that our reality shifts. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not going to go through bad times or good times, right? But have you ever bought a new car? You drive, right?
Yes.
Tell me what your car is.
I've got a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Greek. Okay, in what color?
Black.
So you've got a black Jeep Grand Cherokee. I'll put my teeth in. Okay, so when you bought the car, or just before you bought the car, you made a decision that you're going for that color, you're going for that model. Did you ever see any other cars like that around?
Oh, all the time.
Why? Because all of a sudden your mind is now focused on
Yep.
that. So what do you
Yeah.
start seeing? You start seeing everything is already in existence, but unless you can tune, right? So say for example, you're watching I know you're in the US, so give me two channels in the US.
Uh, Fox and CNN.
Fox and CNN, those are the two I was going to go for. I just wanted to check, right? But just imagine it's not digital anymore. It's the old TV where you would tune it in. So your
Yeah.
life is on Fox, okay? But the life you want is on CNN. What have
Yeah.
you got to do? You've got to tune the TV in to pick the frequency up. But
Yeah.
if your body is full of static, okay, then you get that kind of ghosting. You get the fog that comes over it, right? It's all frequency. And we know this because everything is energy. Because
Yeah.
if we go back to the beginning of the universe, the Big Bang, it was energy exploding. And that is continuing to expand at a rapid rate. So none of this stuff is woo-woo or spiritual. It's physics.
It is.
But you need to be able to get rid of the static to be able to tune in to the life that you need, not the
Hmm.
life that you want, because the life that you want is not within your control. The life
Yeah.
you need is within you. And it is
Oh,
bursting to get out, and your mind and your body is trying to tell you that every single day.
I love that. I absolutely love that because our inner knowing knows. And that's what we're trying to bring forth. Just a quick story before we wrap up here. I was trying to test this manifestation stuff, and I told my husband, I'm like, we're gonna start seeing pink cars now, and he's like, that's weird, but okay. And within like a week, I'd seen maybe about a dozen of them. And my husband calls me one day at work, and he's like, I just saw a pink car. Like the fact that like what you're focusing on, all of a sudden you're pulling that into your awareness, your life, your things. Imagine all the things that we're missing because we're so hyper focused on the negative, right?
And one of the things that's important though with your story is that so when we look at divine masculine, divine feminine energy, right? It's not about penises and vaginas, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
You create an energetic field in the feminine that your husband gets. He trusts what you're saying and vice versa. And so when you have that dynamic of
Yeah.
that energy, like the plus and the minus in the energy going backwards and forward, it's more likely to do it. The challenge you've got is if you don't have that support system, if you don't have
Mhm.
that mentor, if you don't have that person that goes, I've got you, whatever happens, I've got you, I've got your back, you need to know how to do it yourself. So most of us want another half. You don't want another half, you want another whole.
Ugh,
Because
thank you.
your husband will become the amplifier to your wholeness, and you become the amplifier to his wholeness. This is why the empath always attracts the narcissist, because they are different sides of the same coin.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Marcus, this has been so enlightening. I've gotten so much from this. Can you please tell the audience how to find you, where to find you, what are you working on so we can get to know you?
So one of the things I'm working on at the moment is we've got a little project through National Mentoring Day, which has just gone October the 27th. We're building a new consultancy, myself and Chelsea, the CEO, and the rest of the team behind that, because we believe that mentoring is one of the things that is required to make people grow. It's the person that says, I've got you, which is what we've just spoken about now, right? On a personal front, the mind mentoring stuff, I've got some things going on that I can't really talk about at the moment. But one of the things that I have done is I've created a little bit of a webinar for people. It's a freebie. There's an immersion in there that actually is called the Four Thieves of Happiness. And it shows you the four thieves of happiness, but then shows you love. So that's kind of tied into what we were talking about today. So you can go to that. It's at webinar.makeyourlifecount.co.uk. It's a 20-minute webinar, but then when you sign up for that, I drop some goodies in your inbox. You get access to another video called Creating a Positive Mindset. So there's lots of value in that that people can get from that. I'm on social media. I mean, if you just Google Marcus Matthews, the Mind Mentor, it should come up on Google. If you look hard enough, you'll definitely find me.
Oh, thank you so much for all of this information. I absolutely had a blast today. I'm so grateful that you took the time to be on my podcast, Marcus. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And can I say one thing? Because I'm grateful for you
Absolutely.
for allowing me to share this. But if there's one thing I would like to say to the audience is this: good people who get heard can change the world. So if you want to change the world, share this podcast with a friend, interact with this podcast, comment, tell Andy what was of value, because like me, you are a servant leader. And I just want to honor you and say thank you for letting me be on here. But we all grow together. And when good people start coming together, supporting and helping people. So even if you haven't got money to go and see a therapist or whatever, if you lead with love, if you share good news like this, little top tips, things where people can start that journey, I swear it will come back to you in droves. So please support Andy's podcast. And I just want to say thank you very much for letting me come on here and speak.
Absolutely, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Love you guys. Bye.